ready to fly on the street.
We are really privileged today because we have with us a very special guest, a really outstanding keynote speaker, Mrs. Silvina Moschini.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna really, really, really wanna zig a zig ah.
If you want my future, forget my past.
If you wanna get with me, better make it.
Well, thank you for this enormous privilege. Professor Frank, Luis, it's an enormous privilege to be here with you. Marcel, Professor Marcel Boravia, graduates and the families here. It is an enormous pleasure for me to be here again in Barcelona, the city that I once called my home, joining with you this important milestone in your life as you graduate from one of the most prestigious universities in the world. I would like to share a few stories, hoping that I will inspire you to dream big, lead with your heart, and never give up, even in those times when life presents with adversity. The first story is about our own limiting beliefs. When I was a little girl, I lived in a small town called Tandil, in the province of Buenos Aires in Argentina. I was 6 years old then, and at that age, both boys and girls equally believed that they can do everything they set their mind to. Presidents of their own companies, engineers, architects, or even chief of states. The sky for children is the limit. One day, my dad, a very savvy man, told me that I could be whatever I wanted to be. But if I wanted to be a princess, I needed to be a princess that built her own castle. Ever since then, I understood everything, and I wanted to become an entrepreneur. Because I understood that true independence always starts with financial independence. My dad inspired me since I was a little girl to think differently, to set myself free of cultural limitations and to skirt the rules, bend them without breaking them to achieve my whole potential. Because of that, I decided to be a CEO, the CEO that many parents of my own generation would have wanted me to marry. 7 years old, something suddenly happened for those dreams of success that are only suddenly available for boys, leaving all the girls behind. In a culture where calladita, calladita, te ves más bonita, women are assessed based on facts and not on potential. But the worst of all are the stories that we tell ourselves, the self-limiting belief and the imposter syndrome that many times make us question our own value and preclude us from thinking big and achieving our dreams. Perhaps many of you have experienced moments of self-doubt. I did it many times, and even today, occasionally, I feel insecure. But then I resist myself and say, wait a minute, what the heck is that? I can do this, so you can. I moved to the US back in 1997 and took a job at a multinational that I obviously thought I was not ready to pursue. At first, I was kind of proud of how brave I was, that I dared to take this enormous leap of faith, but deep inside of me, I was terrorized. The little devils in the voice in my ear kept on repeating me that I was not good enough. The fear was such that I did not sleep straight for 6 months, concerned that one day someone will come to my office and fire me, realizing that I have no idea what I was doing. Eric Schmidt, the former chairman of Google, said once that scarcity breeds clarity. And just like that, I was forced to think critically and felt confident again, and learned that to innovate, I need to experiment. I allow myself to give myself this permission, and magically, I stopped being scared. The second story is about thinking differently, what I call skirting the rules, and seeking opportunities in the times of crisis. In 2000, the world was divided between brick and mortars and dot-coms. Dot-coms were what we now know as the startups. I was part of the leadership team of one of the prominent companies of that time, called Patagon.com. Our vision was to become the MTV of retail finance, suggesting that financial transaction and online banking will be done online. As you can imagine the type of answers I got, people were telling us that we were absolutely delusional, insane, that no one will put their money or their future in a bank that they cannot physically touch. Patagon was later sold to Banco Santander Central Hispano, one of the largest banks in the world, in $786 million, which updated to today's currency and market valuations, will be probably in billions, with B, like in baby. The bubble burst, and at that time, we were the coolest kids of the block, but suddenly became persona non grata. Fortunately, it was just a market correction, and today, no one will have ever doubt that or bring into question the massive value that internet brought into our lives. I joined later on the largest financial company as the youngest vice president for Latin America in my early 20s, but the adventure did not last long. My high energy, passion for innovation, and decision to make things done did not sit well on a culture where getting 1 or 2 projects per year was enough to keep management happy, and I was fired. Leaving the company was a massive trauma for my self-identity, but it was also a blessing in disguise. I've been forced to reinvent myself, and adrenaline filled me with inspiration and ideas, and opportunities started to pile up. In Chinese, crisis means imminent danger and opportunity, and voila, just like that, I finally became an entrepreneur. In 2008, a new crisis hit the US, and I moved to Italy, first and then to Barcelona to rethink the future of my business. Again, scarcity bred clarity, and as I have hundreds of developers, designers, programmers distributed all over the world, I decided to develop a software to eliminate the need for offices, allow for coordination, monitoring, and collaboration of the work done by my distributed team. This is how my company, Transparent Business, was born. But it was not until the pandemic that things started to change exponentially for us. With COVID-19, 4 billion people, half the universe, were forced to stay at home, and working from home became the business opportunity to have continuity to make everybody work remotely. I always believe that success happens when preparation meets that opportunity. And it was a pandemic that made remote work the new normal. It was a pandemic that enabled me to become the first Latin American woman to lead a company valued at $1 billion. My business became a unicorn in October 2020, and now is valued at $3.2 billion. But the path to success was not straight. Raising capital was a gigantic challenge. Just think that 2% of the capital goes to female-led companies. For women, raising capital is extremely difficult. So I remember what my father told me, skirt the rules. And then what I did was to think differently. I raised over $50 million, inviting people from all over the world to bet on my projects, to bet on me, to help me finance these projects, leveraging from the Jobs Act. And I did it by empowering them to empower me. Many times when I was raising capital, some people, when I asked them for money, gave me advice. And I say, thank you, but no, thank you. I ask you for money. If you're gonna give me advice, I will take you. But first, the money. And as we many times encounter this, I learned that some people get motivated by positive enforcement. In my case, I am motivated by negative enforcement. There was a word that marked my life ever since I was quite young. It was the word kushashi, that in Japanese means the inspiration that we get from the doubters as our motivation for success. I hacked the financial system by bringing a new instrument into the capital market that allowed to lead my company to unicorn status, and then I decided that as I need to give back, I was going to use these learnings to empower other entrepreneurs to do the same. This is why I founded Unicorn Hunters. And Unicorn Hunters is like a Shark Tank, but on steroids. It's a Shark Tank on steroids that allowed myself, the co-founder of Apple, Steve Wozniak, Rosie Rios, whose signature is in $1.3 trillion bills, Lance Bass from NSYNC, my partner Alex Konanikin, to launch an initiative, a program that presents startups with high potential to become unicorns to the masses so they can click to invest and join them in their journey. But then I realized that we needed to make democratic the access to investment opportunities for the masses, and we need to train people on how to invest. So very recently, I leveraged from all the hype that we are hearing in cryptocurrencies and addressing one of the most important issues that cryptocurrencies have, the volatility. So inspired by Unicorn Hunters and inspired by the mission to democratize access to investment opportunities for the masses, I launched 3 weeks ago the first cryptocurrency that is backed by a global innovation fund that will invest in diverse entrepreneurs, especially women and entrepreneurs from all over the world. It's a cryptocurrency that's called Unicorn, and I'm proud to call it again with Steve Wozniak, Rosie Rios, and many important people that lended a hand to a little girl with a dream from Argentina. And my message to you is, if I could do it, coming from a small town at the end of the continent, anyone can do it. But my third message for you is to redefine what we understand as success, because for many, many years, we were guided to define success as money and power. And don't get me wrong, I love money because it pays Louboutins, and I like power because it empowers us to give the power to other people. But most importantly is to define how we see success. And for me, it's defined by what one mentor, when I was a little girl, told me when I decided to come to study to the United States, that he believes that I will be very successful because I have what he thought it takes: drive, determination, passion, the inability to take a no as an answer as well. And he said that he just wanted me to ask one important question 5 years from now, and then ask me if after achieving everything that I wanted to achieve in my life, I believed that I was a successful person. And he told me, I want you to tell me that you are successful because you are happy. Lead with your heart, lead with purpose. Always doing good businesses is a fantastic business opportunities. To remind yourself to trust your gut. Your opinion about yourself is the most important opinion that you can have and that can anyone give you. And if someone does not believe in you, remember to wink to your inner child, this little person, this little girl that up until she turned 7, believed that she could take over the world. And then, with a wink and a smile, tell them, don't believe me, just watch me succeed. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Silvina. we truly appreciate your speech tonight and these wonderful stories and your professional trajectory. I think this has been a fantastic closing lecture for our MBA graduates, and it contains many lessons that we all take with us about thinking critical, about thinking different, about being innovative, about transforming crises into opportunities, motivation for success, empowerment, this drive, this determination, this passion, this not taking a no for an answer, and this living with a purpose. That's a fantastic number of lessons that your lecture inspires us tonight.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of.